There's a new episode of The Shop. I don't know if y'all watch The Shop on HBO Max with LeBron and Maverick Carter and Paul Rivera, but they have a series that takes place in the barbershop, and they always have a variety of different guests. And this week they had Tom Brady, Kid Cudi, and Draymond Green and Chelsea Handler on there.
What a mix of fucking people.
What a mix, bro.
What?
But I mean,
what a mix of
it's so
people
dope
to have a conversation.
The variety of perspectives, I think, is really unique, and I think it's really dope because, you know, it's people that are really successful in their fields, but that are also still somehow like still adjacent to one another, right? Like entertainment and sports, fusing, like creating conversations between entertainment and sports. I think is always a good time. You know what I mean? Whether it's a comedian or a musician or another athlete, I think it's dope. And so Tom Brady was talking about Draymond Green and Tom Brady were going back and forth about, you know, the difference between the agility and athleticism in their sports, right? And how Tom Brady in his mind is like, damn, it would kind of be dope to play basketball because you guys don't have to run that far. Like, y'all got a small court and y'all, you know what I mean, you're running back and forth, but you ain't even got it, you know, we got a whole field. And Draymond's, you know, opposite perspective was like, well, you guys get to stop after every play. I might be running up and down that fucking court for 7 minutes. And you know what I'm saying? Nonstop. Turnover.
This is not a sports podcast.
It's not a sports podcast. But I mean, I thought it was really dope because because you know, people have attacked Draymond Green and been like, you know, well, if you're open, you should take the shot. And he's like, well, nah, because I'm on a team with Steph Curry. If Steph Curry is open, I'm giving him the ball. I'm trying to win the game. You know what I'm saying? I'm giving Steph the ball. That's the smart thing to do.
But what it gets to, I want you to play because what the conversation really leads to is the conversation regarding a team.
Just regarding understanding the importance of knowing yourself, right? Because even Tom Brady says, you know, he doesn't like to be compared to anybody. Because Tom Brady says he can throw the shit out of a football, but he can't do everything. He doesn't know, and not. He doesn't want to. He knows his strengths, and he's cool knowing that his strength can be applied to whatever team he's in. And this was Chelsea Handler's response, which I thought was brilliant. Being able to deputize.
So go ahead and just tell them how y'all read me for filth on Patreon. Y'all, we drop the Patreon soon. But it's crazy that we played this clip because I'm in a room with my homeboy Asante, Bridget, Savon, Pierre, Devon, Terrell, all of our team over on our Patreon. And literally that was the conversation because Bridget has had to check me so many times in just saying, bro, you don't have to do everything. But also I'm able to acknowledge how good Savon is at the things that he does.
Oh, yeah.
What Dev does, what Pierre does. Because look, Lord knows I am not a videographer. I be trying to sit behind the camera. Like, well, let me see the shot. No, can you pan it to the left?
Right.
And literally, Bridget is every week. Don't teach her how to run them cameras, bruh. She gonna come in and do that shit.
We shot content. This is an example. We shot content on Saturday.
Oh my God, don't tell him.
And we are filming something, right? And Mandy just chimes in. We're talent, okay?
We're going through the script, right?
We're going through the script. And we're going, right? We hit a stride. We are hitting momentum. We're free flowing. The energy is great. Everybody's hitting their marks. Everybody's ready to be. Mandy just decides
in the middle of the scene.
mid moment and scene. We all look at her like, wait, no. But sis,
bro, my bad.
You're not the director.
But I felt like I was the director. But I was the director.
You were talent.
But I wasn't. I also wrote the script. So in my mind, I wanted a way. But then, of course, we're in a room with a whole bunch of creative people with creative direction. And so even in that moment, I was just like, oh, damn. Maybe in this space where I was just talent at that very moment to let everyone around me play the role in positions that they were hired to do.
Yes. But I think...
But then I was like, oop, my bad, run it back.
And I think the difference is too sometimes, right? Sometimes it's not a reflection of your disbelief in another person, but more your fear to trust that it's going to be executed properly. It's not always, you know what I'm saying? I think in a team setting, like for athletes especially, they think they automatically go to ego and they chalk it up to like, oh, well, you thought you could make that shot and you thought you could blah, blah, blah. When in actuality with you, it's more so like, nah, I just wanted to get it done right so you wouldn't have to.
I mean, I think
there's a lot of times you've said things to me where it's like, yeah, I didn't want you to have to be worried about it, so I just did it. I didn't want you to have to think about it, so I just did it. I wasn't doing anything, so I just did it.
But in terms of athletes, I believe there's a lot of unlearning. So for a lot of their collegiate grade school athletic careers, they were the best on their teams. So they probably could post up. They could probably bring the ball down the court. They were probably shooting beyond the 3-point. They were probably the best at free throws because they are some of the best athletes in the world. And there's only like 412 spots in the NBA. So to be fair,
this is not a sports podcast.
I mean, it's not. But there probably is a space where they're coming from where they did win games by playing all the positions at some point or another. And so now they're in the league. And yeah, it takes a lot because also you deal with trades. You deal with different players coming in to where it takes a while to trust your team. Yeah. And to be fair, you and I have been building a team. Yeah. Well, dismantling, building again, building further. Yeah. And so it's been a lot even with us in creating this show.
But I also think to the point that Tom Brady had made prior to Chelsea Handler's statement was it's important then in those moments to know yourself and know really what your strengths are so that you can give that creates room for other people to show up as themselves and figure out if they don't already know what their role is going to be, right? Like and figure and discover how they can fit into whatever the scheme is around whatever your strengths are. Like, because this is an arena that's new for me. I'm learning a world of things with you every single week because this is an arena that you are incredibly familiar in. You're a vet in this game. So there's things that I just sit back and I'm listening and watching because I've never done half the shit that you're talking about. Right. So in my mind, it's like I know what my strengths are, but I also know enough of myself to be like, I know it, once I get the hang of something, I'm running it up. But if I don't have the hang of it and I'm with somebody, like Draymond said, if I'm on the court and Steph Curry is even half open, I'm giving him the ball. It's a fucking no-brainer. So I think
it's a no-brainer. If I don't know a word, bitch, you got me.
You understand? And I think that's the beauty of teamwork and leadership in that capacity. And I think it's hard because as kids even, right? Like thinking about even being in school and when you're studying things academically, right? Nobody ever gives you a tutor to help you with the shit that you're good at. It wasn't like something like if you were, I was always amazing at reading comprehension, always. I love to read, I love to write, I love to words. Hello, that was my shit, right? But I wasn't really great at math, and I hated math. So I was given like extra attention for math. It's like we're trained, it's ingrained in us to nurture the weakness, to try to bring them weakness, to make the weakness stronger, rather than hone in on the strengths that we have and be like, yo, you're amazing at this. We should make sure you're the fucking best at this. No, instead it's like, oh, let me help you out. Let me help you carry what you know.
You know what's crazy? I actually just had this conversation with my homegirl because every time I talk to her, she has an idea for a new business that she wants to create or something new that she wants to do. And I'm like, well, none of the other things you started are the best that they can be yet. So why don't you focus on those things first before doing something else? Right. And I think that's where I think a lot of us land in this creative space. Yeah. We start different things or have these ideas. And then we're like, before we can even fully execute one project, we already thinking of when and how we can start the next one and who we're going to do it with. And I think that it's important to, like you said, literally, if you're not showing up 110% for one thing, then you're not ready to leave that thing yet. Right. Like, and I mean, that's even how it is, how I feel even with like team members. Yeah. Like, bro, don't come to me and ask for shit unless you know you've done the absolute most and absolute best that you can in every facet. Because as soon as you come to me asking me for something, now the critique probably ain't gonna be as nice as you want it to be because you haven't even shown up to the person that I know you can show up as. Right. And so, yeah, I mean, I like what he said with that. One of the other points that he made was they were talking about the best athlete and they were like almost comparing Tom Brady and LeBron James. And of course, y'all know I listen to the JBP every week and they brought up Tyler, the Creator, and J. Cole. And Ice was really adamant on comparing the two. And I think this can lead into our girl code conversation. They're always, in order to talk about the greatness of somebody or how well someone does something, you can't ever make it just stand alone. you have to talk about how shitty someone else is or how shitty something else is or compare it to X, Y, and Z to even make your point. And I fucking hate that happens. And I think it happens innately, to be honest, even when we talk about a new relationship.
Right.
Bitch, as soon as we see the new bitch in the relationship, what we doing? Seeing if it's an upgrade or a downgrade. And we're sitting here looking at all of the things, her looks, her physical, what she does for a living, and comparing it to us.
Yep. Everything. It's
literally what you do. So that's why I ain't gonna hold you. I always like multiple choice, bitch. Because there's only one motherfucking answer. I ain't gonna hold you. When I used to have teachers that graded your shit and it was like short response or essay format, and a bitch would give if it was another teacher, I know the shit would be an A. So I used to ask, oh bitch, I was an asshole student. I needed to know what she compared my shit to deduct my points. Because if I'm sitting next to a motherfucker that got an A on their paper and I got a B, you know what I'm doing? Reading their paper and like,
what's the difference?
What is the difference? Where did you come up with my grade? Because no, this is a fucking A because I turned it in and I gave you 100%. Now, I ain't gonna hold you. I never questioned when I gave like 30% and still got a good grade. I'd be like, oh my God.
Yeah, no, you got to take those. You just got to take those and be like, chalk it up to, thanks, God.
How did this happen?